So, a few months ago, I got myself an Epson scanner. I wanted to get high quality scans that I could have control over. I also wanted to pay less at the store as I have a lot of film in my fridge. So if I bought the scanner for the right price, I would save over time. And to that point, for my local store that I use the most, for every roll of development plus social scanning, I save $4.50, which would take me 44 rolls to make the difference back on. Or, for every roll of development plus their higher level scanning, I save $9.50 NZD. That would only take me 21 rolls before I break even. So far, I've shot 17 rolls since I bought this scanner a few months ago. But the question you should have is asking yourself when buying a scanner is not how much will I save, rather you should be asking, do I have time for this? It is incredibly time consuming, taking the film out, waiting for the scans to complete, editing them, putting in the next film, and then also spending all that time editing the photos to make sure that for the most basic stuff such as the correct size and any dust marks have been removed is very time consuming, let alone doing anything further beyond that. So I thought I would take you through the process of scanning the film to show you how arduous it can be. First, you have to pop your film neatly into the holder, do an overview scan so you can see where your subjects are, so you can select them all individually, which is about 12 individual selected photos for 35mm, or for medium format, you can at any one time scan 2 photos for 4x5x6 or 6x6. However, for 7x6 and up, you can only select 1 photo as it's too big for the scanning tray otherwise. Once you have selected the photos, you can then scan the photos at whatever resolution you choose. This isn't too bad to do as a chore whilst you wait 10 to 15 minutes to scan the 12 photos of 35mm. However, it is a bit more daunting when scanning medium format, as you will be opening up and putting in the film and fidgeting around and doing that about twice to 4 times as much, depending on whatever size medium format you are shooting. Once you have your photos scanned, have yourself a file ready. I use the store's highest quality scan to file to give me the size I wanted. I then select the photos and drag and drop them in, organizing the scans if they are either landscape or portrait. I have 2 different TIFF files for both orientation formats. I drag the scan into their more relative orientation files, and from there I adjust the landscape photos 90 degrees. After that, I stretch them out until I get a good idea of where they will sit in the frame. I then adjust each photo layer by layer. Because the scans are not the same exact proportion each time I scan, with each selection a different measurement is happening. Each photo is uniquely stretched, and so no 2 scans will ever be the same. Whatever you can call this is to me like a form of unique lens distortion you could say I'm creating. After I've filled the frame how I want, I will go ahead and remove any dust artifacts or dirt showing up in the photos. The arduous part of this process really depends on the amount of photos I have to edit and the amount of dust showing up. Though Photoshop Autofill has been an amazing tool for doing this for years, so it doesn't take too much to do. I then repeat the process with the portrait photos. Now, I never know which way to scan my photos and often scan them flipped or upside down. So I will need to Missy Elliott these photos when needed, and sometimes I forget to and only notice when I go to edit my videos. Scanning my photos in high resolution does mean I can crop and salvage a photo like this tattoo one. Now, colour film is where I really do enjoy having my own scans, because this is where I can gain control of my photos that may be a little underexposed or old expired film that needs a little colour adjust to be salvageable. Within a few minutes, I have a usable photo. What I do really value is I've invested quite a bit of money into medium format cameras, with me owning 3 Mamiya. I have a lot of films that I hope to get the most out of. Scanning high quality photos gives me the ability to get the most out of these shots. My aim with the film is to get the shot most of the way there, but the age of the film and the gear is going to impact that no matter what, as well as the fact that some of the gear is limited to certain speeds. My light meter says f11 and 500, but the top shutter speed may be 400, so that's the closest I can get. Therefore, I might need to overexpose and compensate in post. And yeah, parts of this photo have been artificially replaced or adjusted, but we live in the 2020s, not the 80s and 90s where film was cheaper and fresher. The process of taking the photo carefully is still there, you just have the ability to fix things if needed, and removing the dust marks I would consider a fair need. It's not like the store's Fuji Frontier machine doesn't do that anyway. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the caveat of scanning medium format film is that it takes quite a while on a flatbed scanner, as you can only do 2 or 1 photos at a time. For 6x7 or bigger, I have to pop out the film 10, 9 or 8 times, which is just fidgety and annoying. With 6x6 or 6x4.5, I can scan 2 photos at once, so it's a little easier. I can also scan them straight to black and white. Not really sure why I would, but if I really liked an image that way, maybe I could. The ability to fix slightly off photos is helpful. Film is expensive, and saving the photo so you didn't waste your money when it came off a little unbalanced or there was a little bit of dirt, to me is better than just adding it to the trash note pile. Originally this video was going to be about and be titled My Scans versus the Stores. I still want to go over some of the differences, but I decided to do a different video. This is one of my favourite photos I took last summer. It was shot on my Canon F1 on Kodak Pro Image 100, which is still, as of this moment, not something you will find in stores these days. Now here is the image that I got initially from the store. I find that the store scanner is set to have a brighter image, which is understandable as most people prefer brighter images over darker ones. It will also be more saturated than my scan, because my scan scans relatively flat, but it's also more grainy. Now I have to note here that it is a low res scan, so the grain being more prominent is understandable. Also, I have to mention that with any store machine, it will have a best for all default, and most stores, including the one that I go to, are more than happy to make adjustments. Now, you might like this image more than my scan, and I kind of do, but the downside is that it's not really that editable, as it's been blown out a little too much to be really recoverable. Whereas the flat scanner gives you the ability to play with the image. As you can see here, I've brightened up the image, added in a bit of saturation with a bit more detail in the image, and it overall a bit more sharper and clearer. This is why I like to be able to scan my own photos, because I get to make sure that the end product is as close to what I hoped it would be when I took that photo. So to finish off this video, this one's been a bit delayed as I've been house sitting in Dunedin, enjoying my time down here, travelling a bit around, which has meant I spent a little less time on the computer, but it's been a good time, it's been real guys. Anyway, till next time.